or sweet berry?
Okay, it looks like we are live. I think we're live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello to wherever you are joining us from. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am Jane Bullen, Managing Director of the Nutrition Network, and I'm joined today by an extraordinary person that I've come to know and admire and respect greatly over the last year or so, Roxana Zoetebier. Is that correct? Did I get
It
it
is
right?
perfect. Yes,
Zoetebier.
that's perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's so lovely to have you here with us today. And you are dialing in from where in the world? Tell us where you are sitting now.
I'm in Atlantic Canada. That's way on the East Coast.
Okay.
It's further east than Ontario, and Ontario usually says they are east of Canada, but no, they're not.
Amazing. Thank you. So you are in the morning right now, aren't you? You're quite early, if I'm correct.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
it's 11 a.m., so sun's up.
Okay. Okay, we're late afternoon here. I'm calling from the Western Cape in South Africa. So beautiful just to acknowledge where we all are in the world and how global our community is. So Roxana, thank you for being with us. I'm just going to briefly introduce you. Roxana is a metabolic health coach. She's also a certified nutrition network coach, and she's the founder and owner of Keto Kendo. I'm going to read a little bit through your bio, but I really want you to talk about your story. Her journey began with a desire to assist others, like the help that she once received. Inspired by Dr. Ken Berry, who had a huge impact on your life, she was asked how she could repay his kindness, and he encouraged you to spread the word. How amazing. So Roxana, tell us and tell me, let's start at the very beginning, before you talk about, the clients that you help in your journey as a coach to help others. Let's talk about you and your health journey. Share with us where you've been, where you've come from, and where you've got to.
Okay, do you have 2 hours? No, I'm kidding. I was all my life, I tried to lose weight. I was very healthy until I was about 25. And every time I went to the doctor, I could just, for the diseases that needed to be checked, I could leave everything unchecked. So that was good. And that changed very suddenly. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which turned out to be a misdiagnosis. It was inflammatory arthritis, but it's very similar. And I was put on medication. I wanted children, so they put me on cortisone. And my weight then just went up. And I got sick. I had 3 beautiful children, so that I'm really grateful for. But I gained weight, and at the top, I was over 300 pounds. And I was then diagnosed with Hashimoto, which is a thyroid disease. It's autoimmune, also another autoimmune disease. I was diagnosed with GERD, which is acid reflux, and I was diagnosed with NASH, which is not fun. It's inflamed fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver. And I was diagnosed with full-blown type 2 diabetes. And I tried to lose weight over and
Was this
over.
all at the same time, or was this over sort of a couple of years that you were getting all these different diagnoses in?
So that developed over a span of about 30 years.
Oh, okay. So one thing happened, then the next, then you went to the next. Okay.
But I was a good patient. So I was prescribed a medication and I took it. And
Yes.
one of the medications I took was OxyContin for pain. And that wasn't a good medication. I mean, we all know now how addictive it is. And I'm off it. So that's good. But being a good patient helped me in that regard, that I never took more than I was supposed to. But the diabetes developed pretty quickly, from you might be diabetic to take this insulin. It was just in a matter of a year or so. And I even thought I was type 1 diabetic because it was so quick, the progression, but I wasn't. And then with the liver issues and the diabetes, then I had a week where it really just escalated. I had a week of sugars in the high 20s straight. And for international units, well, that's the international units. For American units, that's the high 400. And I couldn't think clear. And I I completely forgot about my liver problems. I just needed those sugar levels to come down. My son is type 1 diabetic. So in the middle of the night, I went to him and said, I need to borrow some insulin. I was on long-acting insulin, but you can't give that to bring sugar down. And so I borrowed some of this, calculated in my not so well working brain because my sugar was so high, and the dose, and then drew it up, injected it, and thought, was it too much? So I called up a friend, and he is type 1 diabetic. He was on his morning commute in Germany. And he said, no, your calculation seems to be good, but don't fall asleep. Check every half hour. You just want to be sure. And so you don't fall asleep, look up Dr. Stephen Phinney on YouTube and watch his lecture. And I happened to come across one. It says keto right in the title, but I didn't see it. So I watched the video, and then I thought, oh, okay. Oh, well, this works. This might work for me. Because at that point, I tried everything, and I had lost hope because I thought it was all my fault. I didn't follow the advice. I didn't move in much. I ate with, I don't know.
So what was your diet and your lifestyle like before this moment where you had this change?
So I knew
did a lot of medication.
What healthy was. So I thought, and my lifestyle was, I wouldn't say I had a very good diet, but I had these diets that I went on, and then I made sure it was a good diet. So I went on Weight Watcher, and Jenny Craig is garbage too, because they just send you these meals. But I went on calorie restriction. I joined a program that really focuses on healthy diet. And I did lose weight again and again, but I also regained it. So I could never keep up. I don't think everyone is a sugar addict, but I am. So when people told me, oh, you lost weight, so good, but don't restrict yourself. Because if you restrict yourself, the craving will just come crushing. And then I said, okay, that makes sense, because at that point I was hungry and I wanted to eat a treat. So I ate the treat, and that just derailed me, like, and not for a week or so, but more like for years. And I still thought, okay, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to eat vegetables. I'm going to drink skim milk. I'm going to eat low fat. I'm going to eat, of course, margarine and not butter, because I'm health conscious, and cook with canola oil and not beef tallow or lard. And but that was all the wrong advice. And then I had a huge bowl of oatmeal every morning, because that was healthy, and a smoothie because that, and all these things that you think are healthy, they're just not.
Okay, so you had this moment where you've watched some videos of Steve Phinney, and then where did it go from there? What made you make this change? How did you have, I mean, we haven't got a before and after photo of yours here, but I would love to share it with the audience that's listening, because it is just so astounding to see what you've done with your health. Tell us what happened, when the shift happened, and how you got to this point that you're at now.
Before, like, the hopelessness is so deep. You just don't, you might as well just check out. And that's what I did. I had checked out. But with this new information, I thought, okay, this is going to work. This has to work. It all makes sense. So next morning I told my husband, I'm doing keto. And he said, no, you're not. Yes, I am. And then, well, talk to your doctor first. I said, okay, I will, and had like this behind my back. But I actually did. I talked to her. My plan was, if she didn't approve, I would just go to another doctor and find one that would approve. But she did approve. And so I started my keto journey, and this momentum of hope carried me over everything. Like everything, I was just so pumped to be on that diet. And the one thing I knew was about the keto flu. So I drank Gatorade or Powerade 0, like my life depended on it. I know now it's not healthy, but it helped me not get the keto flu, and that was good. And then I kept eating like that. I limited to 20 grams of carbs net, not total.
Okay.
And but this is, I eliminated sugar, grains, milk. I ate no fruit, and I ate a ton of vegetables, actually more vegetables than I ever eaten before. And I
Wow.
tried all kinds of recipes. It was by no means a clean diet. It was keto products, fat bombs, and everything. But
Okay.
it worked. I lost a good amount of weight, and my insulin requirements dropped.
Okay.
Within a few months, they crept up again. So I was going back to 50 units a day. And I thought, I'm good. Like my A1C was 8.5 on insulin and metformin, and now off insulin. Off metformin, it was no, not off insulin. It was 5.2. So I thought A1C 5.2, I'm golden. And then someone in the
Oh, but
Facebook group
okay,
said,
let's just take a moment there. So you went from an A1C of 8.5 to an A1C of 5.2 just through
yeah.
this insulin.
So first step was 5.6 after 3 months. So I went from full-blown type 2 diabetes to in the healthy range, and then to 5.2, where it usually is about, like 5.1, 5.3, 5.2. It's about that range.
Incredible. That is an incredible, just that what you've just said is an extraordinary accomplishment. It's a diabetes remission. There you have it. So
Well,
sure.
not quite, because I was still on insulin.
Yes. Okay.
But
so
I
you were
thought, who
that
cares?
way.
But I was wrong about that. Someone told me, if you are on insulin, you're insulin resistant, and you need to get off insulin to go into remission or reversal of type 2 diabetes. And so I was like at my wit's end. I didn't know how. And then I looked and looked and looked, and I found Dr. Jason Fung. And he has this really, really good series about the etiology of obesity. It's, I don't know, he looks very young in the lecture. It's a 6-part series, 1 hour each, every minute worth in gold. And I understood how intermittent fasting could get me off insulin. And up to that point, I thought fasting was like stupid. It's starving. It's why? And then I understood, no, actually, if you fast and if you don't snack all day, like I'm going to say like a toddler, I mean, we are grown-ups, we don't need to snack. But if you do intermittent fasting, it can actually give the pancreas a break, and it can give your insulin levels a chance to go down. And that was 7 months into my keto journey. I did 2 weeks of intermittent fasting, and I was off insulin.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I've been off since. So that's almost 4 years ago.
Amazing. Okay. So you took a big step, then you found another quite big step that really
Yeah.
took you off. Okay, so at that point you were off insulin and your other medications and other conditions. Were you still using medication to treat those at that stage, or had you kind of managed to pull back from other things as well?
So proton pump inhibitors, which is I don't know the generic, well, what was it? Anyways, it's a medication to deal with GERD, with acid reflux. And then I learned that if you take that, it lowers the stomach acidity, which is like, sounds logical if you have acid coming up your throat. But the thing is, if the stomach acidity is lowered, it weakens the further down the sphincter of your stomach. So it will let stomach acid up. So it's like a cycle. You take the medication, but the problem is with the low stomach acidity, and humans need the high acidity, you need it to digest meat properly. So I weaned off that. That wasn't just like a full stop. I weaned off that, and now I don't need it anymore. Like every now and then it comes, but I don't get heartburn during the day, and I hardly ever get it during the night. But that was something that it's only supposed to be prescribed for short term, and most people
Mm.
don't know that. I didn't know
Mm.
that, so I learned a lot.
Wow. Okay. So you're at this point now where you've reversed, in principle, remitted or reversed your diabetes. You're off insulin. What happened next?
I wasn't sure about my liver, because everyone says, oh, with liver disease, you can't eat red meat, you can't eat high fat, you can't do this and that. But I did all that, and
Mm.
as I said, like in the beginning, I forgot about my liver a little, and then I thought, well, let's check into my liver, and turns out I no longer have NASH. It was diagnosed with a biopsy and ultrasound, and my liver levels were like really poor. But that was also due to a medication I was taking, like an immune suppressant for my arthritis.
Okay.
And fun thing, you're put on a high initial dose, and then you're tapered down to a maintenance dose, and they forgot that. So I was on a high dose for 15 years. That was not good for my liver.
Yeah.
And every time it was flagged in the lab work, they said, oh no, she's on that medication, so it's fine.
Okay.
And it wasn't fine. But anyways, it was, the reversal was confirmed with with blood work, with an ultrasound, and with a fibroscan. So as far as my liver goes, I have a clean bill of health.
Oh.
Not so much for my thyroid, which is still not doing well. So I'm on thyroid, and I say thyroid replacement. I don't consider it medication, because my thyroid is not making enough, and I have to make up for it.
Okay, so what sure, I mean, just so much respect for the journey that you went on, which sounds like you kind of took your health into your own hands, and actually found this out yourself, not through your medical, support team, which is how we would
No.
we hope it will be into the future, and we're hoping through the work we do that is more accessible to patients. But you're a real, I mean, this was how many 4 years ago did you say that you went first on this journey? So you were
it's almost to the day. It's October 19th.
Okay. So what happened next, and what led you to start to, through your business and through the trainings that you've done, start to want to help others?
So, when you quit smoking and it's the healthiest thing in the world, and you want to tell everyone, or you find one thing that just worked for you and you want to tell everyone, well, I knew I wasn't the only one having success on keto. Dr. Stephen Phinney was the one who opened my mind. But then very early on into my journey, I followed Dr. Ken Berry. And he has been like really consistent with his advice, and everything he said, and even like a few things that I say, like, whoa, don't like put ice on a sprained ankle. Okay, no, that's not right. But he's actually right. So I said, you helped me. Like, how do I repay you? I really wanted to hand over money, because how do I thank him, right? And
Yes.
he said, no, you can spread the word. And so I thought, okay, well, my options are Facebook. So I founded a Facebook group, and then I was also involved with Power Admins of Facebook. So I got community manager certified, and they opened. Well, inadvertently, I also opened a Twitter account on their recommendation. I don't think they had that in mind. And so this was a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of people seeing my progress and just being inspired by what they saw. So I'm postmenopausal. I'm not like the prime candidate for easy weight loss, but I did lose a lot of weight. I lost about 110 pounds. So
Sure.
that's what I did. And then I thought, okay, in my Facebook group, it quickly grew. We are now at 14 or 16,000 people. And I have about that many followers on Twitter. And I get a lot of questions in my inbox. And sometimes these conversations carry on for an hour or two. And if you have 2 in a day or 3 in a day, that is a lot of time that I'm taking up for individuals. And that I'm losing to address the group as a whole. And then I said, okay, The group is free. Twitter obviously is free. But if you want individual advice, you need to book me as a coach. And that was the one part. The other part was that in order to help others, I needed to become educated. It's one thing watching a YouTube video here and there and getting a good idea, having good understanding, but I really needed to know the science behind it, like why keto works, or carnivore for that matter, how it works and how to do it safely and all these things. So I signed up with my first Nutrition Network course. And I don't know how I found you, maybe via Professor Tim Noakes. I'm not sure, but I also went to these low carb conferences, Low Carb USA, and it's now a symposium for metabolic health. So I started doing a few courses. I think the first one was Low Carb High Fat Keto Advisor. And I thought, oh, perfect, I'm certified. And then my friend Joy said, you know what, if you take on a few more courses, you can be a metabolic health practitioner. I said, well, what? So I did that. And then Tia Reed said, you know what, you can be a coach practitioner. And I said, what? So yeah, I did all those. And now I'm almost done with, I added on primal health coaching, which I'll be done with next week. And so this has been like quite a ride, but it's fun. It's always been fun. And the more I look into it, the more I learn, obviously, but also the more I'm asking questions like, how does this work? How does that work? And the community is just great. You can post a question and they'll get back to you.
So, okay, so can I ask you what value it's brought to you? Obviously, because we've got quite a number of people that are sort of, deciding whether or not to do our advisor training or whether to go the whole way and certify. Like, has it brought value to you? What would you say to those that are kind of on the fence and maybe wanting to do something like the coach certification at Nutrition Network, which is quite an in-depth? What was your experience of it? Would you recommend it? What warnings would you give? And what value?
Absolutely. Like I would recommend it to anyone. It depends how deep you want to go into the science. Like if you want a good understanding of the basics, you'll do the Keto Advisor course, a low carb, high fat Keto Advisor course. If you want to dig deeper, you will do the metabolic health practitioner course. And if you want to go to the, I don't know the word for that, to the nitty gritty, you will do the coach practitioner, because they are kind of like the first one is fairly easy. It's easy to understand and it's easy to retain the information. The metabolic health practitioner is just the same level of difficulty, but it's a broader spectrum. There's also a coaching part, and it's just a lot more. And for the health practitioner, you have to actually actively write papers, essays, do homework. You're in those Zoom conferences, which I really enjoyed. They were a little early in my day, but we had like weekly 2-hour sessions with Tim Noakes. Like, who gets that, right? And all the other doctors, Dr. Kaiji, Dr. Wellington, and I should have written down the names to name them all, but like they were the top of the, do you say top of the crop? I don't know if you say it like they were like top notch scientists, doctors, medical doctors, and so I learned a lot from that. And then it actually included a business part, where you learn how to build your business, and obviously the coaching part of Tracy. I love her. She's amazing. It did change. I mean, I already coached clients at that point, but it did change my approach. The insight-based coaching was, I didn't, well, it wasn't on my radar. So it did change the way I do coaching now.
So tell me now about your coaching practice in your life. I'm interested to know kind of actually what you eat and kind of your lifestyle that you've taken on since so many big changes. It feels like you're constantly perfecting things. Well, let's carry on exactly what you're doing as a coach first, because we're on that topic. Let me not ask you 3 questions at once. So tell us about your coaching practice, how people can sign up, where they can find your group. Maybe we can post a link to your group, because it would be nice for people to maybe that are interested to follow it, and how you work with clients.
So what I do is I have 2 web pages. One is reversinginsulinresistance.com with dashes, so reversing-insulin-resistance.com, and that has mostly information. It has videos, like the video with Dr. Sarah Horberg. If you want to stop type 2 diabetes, ditch the guidelines. Gary Taubes, Nina Teichholz, Dr. Berry, Dr. Georgia Eid, Michael Eads, David Diamond, who was like excellent with explaining the cholesterol things, Dr. Marianne De Masi. So I have a collection of videos, and Dr. Stephen Finney, of course, because he's my heart. And so it has a few scientific articles that I need to update, probably a few recipes, ideas, a blog, stuff like that. That's the website. And then it has a link to my coaching website, which is kendoketo.com. So it's KENDO, like the martial arts, -keto.com. And the idea was like slashing carbs with Roxana and Joy. She's my partner in the business. And in there you can book a discovery call, or like something that's free, and then we get to know each other. The clients usually sign up just for on a monthly basis for weekly or daily coaching. Daily is a 20-minute chat and a longer chat on Friday, and it's not on Saturday and Sunday. And weekly is, well, what it says, it's weekly. And then we go from there. I will soon be offering a 12-week program and a 21-day, like where it covers all the basics. So in 12 weeks, you can learn what you have to learn to fly free and go on your journey, or you can continue for accountability, the coaching. And something very short term, it's a 21-day challenge, which is basically just emails back and forth.
Amazing. Sure, Roxana. Okay, tell me about your diet now and your lifestyle now and what you're learning at the moment. I know I saw you recently. We got to actually meet in 3D, which was lovely. And it's like, I can tell that you're constantly evolving and working on how you're going to get better, how you're going to improve your own journey, and also for your clients. What's new to you? I understand that you're eating a mostly meat-based diet now. Is that correct? You said when you started, you were eating mostly vegetables and a lot of other keto products. Talk about the evolution that you've been on to get to this point.
So in the beginning, I had really no idea how about keto, like how it worked, why it worked. My diet was just to make sure not over 20 grams net carbs, well, the protein, the fat, but not to eat grains and sugar. That was like my main thing. No starchy vegetables, no fruit. Along the way, I learned you got to eat clean too. So the seed oils were gone. I actually threw out the canola oil. We still have margarine in the fridge because my husband wants it. I know. Oh. But eventually that will be gone too. So for me, it's of course butter and lard and bacon grease. And then I learned, okay, keto products are probably not the best because they say it's, hey, 2 grams net carbs. And when you look at the bag, it's like 30 grams of carbs. Something doesn't add up here. Then I learned that anything like salt, if you buy salt in the store, some has sugar in it. I know, crazy. Artificial sweeteners, Splenda is mostly sugar. It's like 99.8% or so maltodextrin, which is glucose, which is sugar. But because the serving size is so little, they can say it's no sugar. Anyways, So it got cleaner and cleaner. I eliminated everything that wasn't good, but I still have problems with inflammation. So the thing that I was first diagnosed with and that I had for the longest, the inflammatory arthritis, I was a year or so, I got off immune suppressants. And then a year or so, I had no flares. And then those flares returned. I don't know what triggered it. Maybe the thyroid issues, maybe having COVID, maybe over exercising because I was feeling so much better. So I started exercising, probably overdid it. I'm competitive. Okay. Maybe too little sleep, maybe too much stress. I don't know. Something triggers these cravings, maybe something in my food. So I have to look at what I'm eating. And there is anti-nutrients in vegetables or in plants. There is plant toxins. I mean, oxalates are toxins. So I said like, okay, I'm going to eliminate it all and I'm going to go on carnivore. But on carnivore, I was still eating chicken and pork. And I'm not saying that chicken and pork is not good, but I'm saying for someone with severe autoimmune issues, they might want to think about eliminating it, cream and all that. So I started and I'm going to say modified Lion diet because I still have butter and I still have coffee right here. It's like bulletproof coffee. It's so good. So I eat beef. I eat salt. I drink water with lemon powder and coffee and butter. That's it.
Wow. Okay. So you've gone very far into your carnivore journey in terms of really, really restricting it. And is it working well for you?
Almost at the other extreme, yeah.
And how is it? Is it working for you? I mean, are you feeling a difference? Are you really finding value in it? Yeah.
So once my flares started, I had to take cortisone, 7 days. And then for a week, I had like no issues. And then it started creeping up, the inflammation again, to a point where I had to take cortisone again. And that was about every 3 weeks. So that was not a good place. Every time I take the cortisone, I mean, on the one hand, it's great because it takes away the pain, it takes away the uncomfortableness, feeling uncomfortable. It makes everything better, but at the same time, it when you stop taking it, you have to adrenals have to pick up again, and every time that gets more problematic. It's exhausting. The fatigue is just too intense. So I want not to take the cortisone. And when I started carnivore in June, I had almost 6 weeks or so where I didn't have to take, no, actually more, a little over 2 months, but I didn't have to take cortisone. And then I had a few stressors. My son got married. I went to San Diego, where I saw you. And inflammation back, and I had to take it again. Now I'm looking at a 4-week stretch where I didn't use cortisone, and I still have like full mobility. So I can, when this is inflamed, I cannot go like this, but I go like this, or I'm hypermobile. So when I can lift my fingers like that, and if I'm inflamed, I can get them up like this, and that's it. Or making a fist like really fast, that's painful. So I cannot, like right now I can make a good hard fist, but when I'm inflamed, I can not even like close the fist entirely. So yes, I think it's working, and I hope it's working. Like I'm hanging. It's the one thing. Sleep I can address. My food I can address. Certain life circumstances I can't address.
Yeah, that's the thing about stress and kind of things that come our way, which of course have a huge impact on our health picture, is how to find ways to deal with the unexpected and retain our sense of health and balance. Roxana, so tell me what advice you would have for coaches that are starting out, or people that are starting out on the journey that want to help others. Like, can you create meaningful change and support other people to create meaningful change in their lives? And how are the best ways that you've seen to start this process?
So taking your courses is what enabled me to be a better coach. And so this is hands down something I would recommend to everyone. Not everyone has to do the coach practitioner course, but I gotta say it's a really good tool. It's once you get into these circles. Also, the classmates that I had, we're still in contact. We actually, a few of us meet weekly for Zoom calls, and it's such a great yeah.
You guys
It's
were
such a
really
great
close, weren't you? Yeah, I remember jumping into a few
Yes.
of your events and thinking, my goodness, it's like a family.
It is.
Supportive to each
And
other.
we still have the WhatsApp going, and so, but it's not just the classmates, it's the Nutrition Network community as a whole. You have access to the tools like the red, green, and yellow food lists. I should say green, yellow, red. You have these, I think it's called Toolbox, Practitioner Toolbox. And you have the forms, that intake form. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's all there for you to use. So that's very helpful, especially when I have new clients. They need to fill out these forms to keep them safe, to keep me safe. Part of the course, the Metabolic Health Practitioner course, was also legal stuff. What do you have to look out for? I mean, I don't want to help someone. This is my like purpose. I want to help people, but if I help the wrong person, they might sue me or not be happy, and so it also protects me.
Thank you. So beautiful what you're saying. Thank you so much. That's amazing what you're saying about how the community, and I think it's a really important point, and it's something that maybe I want to touch on, is obviously this is why we're here, as certainly as the Nutrition Network, is because we believe in finding a way to work together, and we believe in kind of better together, and that's not always easy. You know, it's sometimes a lot easier to just be out there on your own wherever you are in the world, kind of flying your flag. But what we found is that people need community, need the support, need each other, and we try to create opportunities for that. So our community platform is a lovely place. It's a lovely kind of, hopefully very as inexpensive as we can make it place. I think it's $10 or $15 a month, depending on what package you're on. There's also a free option. So for those of you that are listening that want to engage, but that aren't ready to do like a major certification, that might be a place to start, because then you have access to some of the tools. So thank you for mentioning it, Roxana. And then just what we're trying to do over the next while is we're trying to create opportunities to support coaches and advisors to succeed. So we want you to win. We don't want you to like float around not knowing how to actually make it work. And we know that coaching works. From a sort of scientific and evidence-based perspective, we know that it is, combined with medical support, the solution to reverse and beat chronic disease. And we believe in coaches. They are the people that are going to actually really implement the change on the ground. And that comes, I mean, I remember when I was a child, we used to go, one of my siblings had a weight problem, and we used to go to Weigh Less every week. My mom used to drive us there. And there was this lovely lady. I mean, I don't think she had any qualifications whatsoever, but she was there every Wednesday night, weighing everyone and giving everyone a pep talk. That was, I mean, I'm not sure about the science behind it, and we all know that the actual diet is flawed in many ways, but it's people that, like you and the other incredible coaches we have in our community, that are the ones that are going to actually help people along the journey, and probably end up not needing to go to the doctor, not needing to even get to the point where they need medication and specialists and multiple. I mean, I've written down the list of your diagnoses that you mentioned, which we understand now are all from insulin resistance. So what we're trying to do, we've got a couple of things that we're trying to do as Nutrition Network. We've built something called Master Coach, which is launching next week, which is like a couple of lectures, a series of lectures by master coaches for coaches that hopefully is going to be supportive for you, how to win in your practice, how to grow your practice, how to build client bases, all those things. It's with someone amazing called Colleen Joy Page, who is the teacher on the advisor training. And it's also with Tracy McBeath, the amazing master coach that you mentioned, who teaches on our certification training. They're the first two that are going to bring kind of their knowledge to life into our community, and everyone's welcome. There's a significant discount for certified and advisors. Write to us if you can't afford it. We want you to do it. We're kind of putting it there as a support toolkit for everyone for year end as they go into the new year and set their new goals. We've also got a certification program starting in February. We do one a year, so like the one that Roxanne has just completed, or completed recently, not that recent. Is once a year. That's open for applicants at the moment. It is a journey to get onto that, so you have to have done quite a number of our trainings and gone through a journey to get to that point. So write to us if you're interested. Roxana, what else? Any last comments, any last thoughts, anything you'd like to share that I haven't touched on?
I think people who are still on their journey, not even at the coaching level, but who wonder, is this working for me, or is it healthy? Yeah, I would say, well, with all the science and everything I learned, it is healthy. But what I really wanted to say is, when you think about eating something, whether it's healthy or not, or you think you need it, there's one mantra I always keep repeating to myself, is that nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. Once you go onto this journey and you start feeling healthier, I used to settle for a very low bar, and then my bar went up to where it should be. And I know what healthy feels like. I never want to feel unhealthy or sick again. So this is what, if you start this journey, if you experience that switch and bump up to where you should be, you never want to go back.
Amazing.
That's basically, yeah.
Such a beautiful advice. Thank you so much, Roxana. So much respect for your own journey and for the bravery that it took for you to really change your life in the way that you did. And for those of you that haven't seen it, please look up Roxana's pages and also her before and now photos. I know your journey's not over and you're still doing so much incredible work on your health journey. But such an inspiration. And also just so much gratitude for the fact that you've done, trusted us with your learning journey at Nutrition Network, and B, all the people that you have helped, do help, and definitely will help into the future. You are really an inspiration to me and to many. Thank you so much for joining us today, and so lovely to see you in real life recently and back on to this dimension of real life again today.
Yeah, I could poke you there.
Yes. Which we would be giving each other a hug, but we will just wave and say thank you and goodbye. Thank you everyone so much for joining us, and have a lovely day further. Keep well. Bye-bye.
Bye.